Hey guys, what's going on? It's Russell again. Thought I'd do a quick review of TradeTips.io today. Somebody in the Stock Alerts Reviewed Facebook group brought this to my attention and were saying that you should check it out. Can you review it? So I've been signing up for different ones, and TradeTips.io is one that I found that I actually really like. So I've taken a few trades with it, explored the system, and I thought I'd do a review of it today for you guys. So if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. This is the type of thing I do every day, look at different services and review them so you don't get scammed. There's a lot of good stuff out there, a lot of bad stuff. I tend to only talk about the stuff that I like, just because I want that positivity, I don't want to be going through all the terrible services out there. So anyway, let's get started on TradeTips.io. This is the site, TradeTips.io. It's very easy to remember. And what they do is basically they do text alerts, so SMS only. This is kind of unusual these days because usually there's a Discord chat room or email or something. These guys are a little different. They just send out text messages to your phone and basically saying buying this. There'll be like a couple of sentences saying what they're buying. It's also an option service, so you could buy the underlying stock, but they send out option alerts. So yeah, yeah, my voice is kind of crazy today. So yeah, so it's an option alert service. It's supposed to be for swing trades, and you get a text message every day, sometimes up to about, I think about 5. That's what I've been getting. So about 5 different alerts a day. They just send the buy and the sell with a couple of lines, like you said. It's $74.99 a month, which is pretty good. I made that back in my first 3 trades, which was pretty cool, and I'll show you those in a minute. So yeah, they have some testimonials. They supposedly do crypto as well, but I haven't seen any crypto stuff, just some basic options trades. So here is the example. This is a screenshot from my phone of what they've been sending me. Zoom in. So the first trade that I did with these guys was a Disney call. So this is the day I joined, so it was kind of difficult to know what this call was about. He just said Disney call, reopening Disney at 175, call 2nd of July at $2, and there's absolutely no information there, and I'm assuming in the previous yesterday's call that they're referring to, there was some information about this. But I had a quick check of the chart and I jumped in, and I actually got a bit better of a price than these guys. So I got 193, I think. Yeah, so here we go. So I got 193, and Disney ripped up and I took 13% profit, probably within like an hour or two. And these guys started to trim that as well, and I think this is shown here. Let me see. Yeah, here we go. So it was only 20 minutes later they started to trim at 9:05, so it was 8:43 to 9:05, and they got a little bit of profit and I got about the same. So that was a really good start to this service, I think. I was looking at the chart. It's not completely clear to me why Disney was such a good buy, and I missed out there a few lines of due diligence that they include with these things. Anyway, the next one that I did with them was Save, S-A-V-E. This is their alert, and all he said was it's a bounce off the 200 EMA. So if we go and look at the actual text, so I'm ignoring this one like TLRY because these were stuff they were in before I was in. So I didn't get into play, don't really remember why, but I took save. So this is the save one, liking the setup with a clear bounce off the 200 EMA. These are swing trades, so it's a medium, safe, risk swing. I didn't really like it very much. I bought it and I think I got a similar price. Let's see, I got 117. I didn't really like the chart particularly, so I kind of ignored them and just took 3% profits a little bit later that day, just because I just couldn't see what they saw in the chart as well, so thought I would just take my profits on that one as well. And then the next one was LVS that they sent out, so let's have a look here. LVS, see if we can find it. It doesn't look like it's on the screenshot, but it's okay because I wrote it down here as well. So LVS, they wrote, is holding the weekly trend line. So they're going to go long for a bounce. This is the contracts they bought, $52 call for July 30th, so it's about a month out. Seems to be the sort of time frames they're working on, is about, monthly, or, at least a couple of weeks out. So they bought it, and basically this thing bounced overnight. So I bought it as well. I got it at 208. I think they were in at 211. And it bounced off this weekly trend line, so I plotted it here for you guys. You can see how they tested this trend line. This was their hypothesis here, that it would bounce back up. And overnight I got about 10% profits. These guys actually held it a little longer than I did and started to trim at 23%, which is pretty good. But you can see the upside here is still massive. Like, the top of the trend line is way up here, so this thing could bounce and continue all the way up. But if you get 10 or 20 or 30% overnight, I think that's a pretty good return in such a short time frame. And if you've got these diamond hands, you could hold this thing until 70 or something, but it's just not worth it, especially in this market. So I locked in the 10%. Those guys that are sending out the alerts locked in 23%, I think. And that brings me to like one point I have here, is I have no idea who these guys are. They could be 18-year-old kids sitting in their mom's basement, just throwing darts at a dartboard and saying buy these calls. However, I've had a 100% success rate with their alerts so far. I'm going to continue to trade them. The only thing is, like I said, the transparency is kind of weird. Like, you don't have a website to log into or a member portal. You don't have emails coming from anybody, and you don't have a single piece of information about who's actually sending you these signals. They say it's a group of people, it sounds like, where they've got a combined 15 years of experience between them. But that always kind of worries me a little bit, because that could be five kids that have just started trading like in the pandemic last year or something, a couple of years ago. You can get that 15 years between a few people quite quickly. But the proof is in the pudding, right? And these alerts do seem to be working quite well. What I really like about them is they're spoon-fed to you, so you get rid of all this noise. You don't get all this chatter that you would in Discord. You don't get too many alerts. You just have your phone, the text comes in, and you buy or sell it, depending on the alert. Obviously, with all stock alert services, you do your due diligence. That's what I do. I never follow their alerts exactly. I have my own risk tolerances, and everybody, I feel like, should really trade based on these ideas. Simplifies their, the amount of due diligence you have to do. It helps you just kind of speed things up, but I don't ever advocate just following alerts blindly. But as a brief summary, I'd say this service for $74.99 a month, not bad. I mean, especially if you're not looking to be in a chat room or anything. I think getting these spoon-fed, hand-delivered text messages 1 to about 4 or 5 times a day, it seems like, could be for you. They're supposed to be swing trades as well, but they do move sometimes intraday, and then these guys are taking profits, and I did the same. So hopefully it's helpful. I think you can check these guys out. I think they're pretty interesting, especially if you have a small account, because you're talking one contract would only be $193 here. So small accounts could really do quite well with this. I think I went in with just one contract on these guys and made about $50 on day one of testing out the service. So given that it's only $74 a month, and I feel like a small account could do really well with this service. So yeah, that's my TradeTips.io review. I will continue to update any future trades that I do with these guys, just to let you know how things are going. So let me know if you've tried this service in the comments below, and I'll catch up with you soon. Alright, cheers.